A man in his 70s brings his late father's rifle to a pawn shop, hoping to clear one more thing from the house. The clerk names a quick cash price, and he nearly takes it. But an old mark, correct part, or factory detail can change the sale. A worn common rifle may bring a few $100s, while an original example can bring several thousand. Before you sell, clean, trade, or refinish an old rifle, find out what it is. A rushed sale can take money from your retirement or your family. Rifles number 12 through number 10. Closet finds with details that change the price. Number 12. The Winchester model. 1894 lever-action rifle. A lot of families see an old Winchester and assume it's just a worn deer rifle. Sometimes it is. But early model 1894 rifles can draw serious collector interest, especially when the rifle still carries its original finish, correct sights, sound wood, and a low serial number. That's where people get burned. Someone takes an old rifle into a shop, hears that it's just a 30-30, and sells it based on the cartridge stamped on the barrel. Yet two model 1894 rifles in the same chambering can sit in very different parts of the collector market because one remains close to factory form and the other has spent decades altered for hunting. A standard hunting grade, model 1894, may bring roughly $500 to $1,500. An early rifle with strong original finish, correct parts, or a scarce chambering can move into the $2,000 to $5,000 range or higher. Don't wipe it down with oil or polish. Photograph both sides, the serial number, barrel markings, sights, and old papers. Then let an early Winchester appraiser see it as found. Number 11. The Savage model. 99 lever-action rifle. This rifle often sits in a rack beside more familiar hunting guns, and that's part of why it gets missed. The Model 99 doesn't look like every other lever gun, but many owners still treat it as a plain old deer rifle and never look closely at the chambering, the barrel length, or the factory sights. Some versions left the factory in less common chamberings, and those can bring more collector interest than the standard examples. Early rifles can also carry details that later versions don't, including certain stock shapes, sight setups, and the famous rotary magazine with its cartridge counter. Don't assume a scope helps. On an older collector rifle, extra holes drilled into the receiver can hurt. So can a replacement stock, a cut-down barrel, or a fresh blue finish that hides the wear collectors expect to see. Common Model 99s often fall around $500 to $1,200, depending on condition. Earlier rifles, scarce chamberings, takedown models, and clean examples with their rotary magazine intact can bring roughly $1,500 to $3,500 or more. Get the model, chambering, serial number, and condition checked before you accept a fast quote. Number 10. The U.S. model. 1903 Springfield rifle. These rifles turn up in closets, attics, and old gun cabinets all over the country. Many families know a relative served, so they see the military look and assume every 1903 carries the same worth. That isn't how the collector market works. An appraiser checks the receiver markings first, then the serial number, barrel date, stock cartouches, bolt, sights, and finish. A rifle with its original military parts and correct stock tells a much different story than one rebuilt years later for sport shooting. Original finish matters for the same reason. Think of it like an old family photo. A little age and wear don't ruin the photo. They show it's real. But if someone paints over half the image, you lose part of the story. With a military rifle, honest wear can hold more meaning than a bright new finish. A sporterized or rebuilt Model 1903 may sell around $500 to $800. An original military rifle with a correct stock, clear cartouches, and period-correct parts can run roughly $1,500 to $3,000, with scarce versions going beyond that. Leave every part where it is, photograph the receiver, barrel, stock stamps, and serial number, then get a military rifle specialist's opinion. Early rifles can bring real money, but the next group gets missed even more often because families see them only as old hunting guns. Rifles number 9 through number 7. The hunting rifles. Families misidentify. Number 9. The Winchester Model 70 bolt-action rifle. Plenty of Model 70s spent their lives in deer camps, and that's why families often see them as ordinary hunting rifles. The name on the receiver alone doesn't settle anything. Collectors look for the chambering, the serial number range, the stock style, factory sights, and whether the rifle still wears the parts it left the factory with. A less common factory chambering can change the conversation fast. So can an early setup that escaped the usual hunting changes. A rifle that looks plain from across the room may deserve a close look once you read every marking. A clean-looking rifle doesn't always earn a strong condition grade. A strong grade means the metal, wood, markings, and parts still agree with each other. A rifle can carry glossy wood and deep blue steel, yet lose collector interest if someone sanded it, re-blued it, drilled it for a scope, or changed the original hardware. Many post-1964 Model 70s sell around $600 to $1,200. Earlier rifles in strong original condition, especially in sought-after chamberings or with scarce factory details, can bring roughly $2,000 to $5,000. Leave it alone until an appraiser checks it. A new scope, drilled holes, or polished metal can cut into collector interest. Number 8. The Remington Model 141 pump-action rifle. This one often gets called Granddad's Old Remington, which tells you almost nothing. The Model 141 came from an era when many families bought one rifle and kept it for decades, so it can sit untouched in a cabinet while everyone assumes it has no collector demand. Collectors care about how it left the factory, the chambering, barrel setup, sights, wood condition, and any factory options. The rifle's link to a specific owner can matter too, but only when the story has something behind it. Picture an older parent who can still point to a worn spot on the stock and tell you who carried the rifle, where it came from, and why it stayed in the family. Ask those questions now, then write the answers down in their own words. Years from now, that note may help your family tell the difference between a rifle with a known past and one with a story nobody can prove. Standard Model 141 rifles often bring roughly $600 to $1,200. Better grades, factory options, and harder-to-find carbine versions can reach about $1,500 to $3,000 when condition holds up. Keep every old paper with the rifle. A specialist can judge what affects price, but nobody can assess a document that went into the trash. Number 7. The Marlin Model 1893 lever-action rifle. People mix these up with later Marlin hunting rifles all the time, and the name alone can lead to a bad sale. The Model 1893 has a following among lever-action collectors, but its condition and factory-correct parts decide whether it stays a modest old rifle or moves into a different class. The bore matters, but it doesn't carry the whole appraisal. A bright bore won't erase a replacement stock, a cut barrel, wrong sights, or parts from another model. Collectors want a rifle that still fits together the way it should, not a rifle rebuilt from whatever parts were available. Later repairs aren't always bad in a practical sense. A family may have fixed a broken stock because the rifle needed to work, and there's nothing wrong with that history. Yet the collector market pays more for factory-correct parts, because those parts show what the rifle looked like before decades of use and repair. A worn Model 1893 in a common chambering may bring around $800 to $1,500. An original example, especially in .38-55 or with an octagon barrel and clear markings, can bring roughly $1,500 to $3,000 or more. Get clear photos, record the markings, and seek an estate appraisal from someone who knows old Marlins. We're halfway through the list, and a pattern is already showing up. The rifle that brings the better result usually hasn't been improved after it left the factory. The first 6 rifles differ, but correct parts, honest condition, clear markings, and papers keep deciding the sale. You can already see the pattern. A rifle that looks like an old hunting gun may bring 3 to 10 times more than an altered version of the same model, because collectors pay for originality and proof. Rifles number 6. Through number 4, small marks, big collector differences. Number 6, the M1 Garand, especially a rifle that still carries the right wartime parts and markings. Most people know the name. They see a military rifle, recognize the wood stock and long barrel, Then assume every M1 Garand belongs in the same price range. It doesn't. Collectors look closely at the receiver maker, serial number range, barrel date, stock cartouches, rear sight, trigger group, and small parts. That difference takes more than a quick look across a gun shop counter. Look for markings, but don't scrub them to make them easier to read. Old stamps in the wood and metal can be faint, and aggressive cleaning can turn a useful mark into a blank patch. Take photos in natural light, from straight on and at an angle, then let a military rifle appraiser study them. A typical M1 Garand may sell around $900 to $1,500, depending on condition and parts. A more correct World War II rifle with crisp cartouches, period-correct parts, and supporting papers can bring roughly $1,500 to $3,500 or more. If you find a service paper, old photo, or letter with it, keep it together with the rifle. Number 5. The U.S. model. 1917 Enfield rifle. Families often mistake this rifle for a common old military gun because it has the same broad look. Dark wood, steel, and a military stock. Yet collectors don't stop at the overall look. They check the maker mark, serial number, barrel markings, stock stamps, and whether the rifle still carries parts that belong together. A story without proof may still matter to your family. For a collector, proof helps turn that story into something they can trust. So, if your father or grandfather told you where the rifle came from, write it down now. Ask who owned it first, when it entered the family, and whether any records sit in a desk drawer or file box. Keep the note with the rifle, along with every old paper and case that came with it. A rebuilt Model 1917 often sells around $600 to $1,000. An original non-sporterized rifle with clear markings, correct parts, and a sound stock can bring roughly $1,000 to $2,000, sometimes more. Don't swap parts to fix it. An appraiser needs to see the rifle exactly as it sits today. Number 4. The Winchester Model 1895 lever-action rifle. This rifle can fool people because it looks like another old Winchester at first glance. But the Model 1895 uses a box magazine rather than the long tube magazine found under the barrel on many lever guns. That design allowed it to use different types of cartridges, and collectors pay close attention to the exact chambering and factory setup. That last point can change an estate appraisal fast. A short barrel, special sight, or unusual stock might draw collector interest when factory records and the rifle itself support it. The same detail can hurt the rifle when a later owner cut, drilled, sanded, or altered it for hunting. A standard model. 1895, in good condition may bring roughly $1,500 to $3,000. Military contract rifles, scarce chamberings, and documented factory configurations can reach about $3,000 to $8,000 at auction. The last three call for even more patience. One cleaning job, replacement part, or rushed sale can erase the details collectors came to see. Rifles number 3 and number 2, where patience protects the family. Number 3. The Springfield Armory. M1A. Especially early rifles with documented factory parts and their original box, papers, and accessories. At first glance, an M1A can look like a rifle someone bought for target shooting years ago, then put away in the safe. But early examples can draw a different kind of attention when the serial number, receiver, stock, sights, and small parts point to an early factory build rather than a rifle changed over time. Collectors don't just look at the name on the receiver, they look at what came with it. This is where a family can lose money without meaning to. Someone sees a rifle they don't recognize, takes off an old sling, replaces a worn stock, or installs new sights because the rifle needs fixing. Then the person doing the appraisal can't see the rifle as the owner kept it. Leave it as found. A standard M1A often sells around $1,200 to $1,800. Early examples with original GI parts, their factory box, papers, and documented build details can bring roughly $2,000 to $3,500 or more. Store it dry and secure, photograph it before anyone changes a part, then get more than one informed opinion. Number 2. The Winchester Model 1886 lever-action rifle. This rifle separates itself from common lever guns the minute an experienced collector starts looking it over. The Model 1886 came in several chamberings and factory setups, and the exact barrel, magazine length, sights, stock shape, finish, and serial number can all move the appraisal in different directions. A plain Model 1886 and an exceptional Model 1886 may share the same name. The stronger examples tend to keep their original finish and correct parts, but history can add another layer when the family can prove it. A letter that names the rifle, a dated photo where the markings or stock details match, an old bill of sale, or records tied to the first owner can turn a family account into documented provenance. Don't stretch the story beyond what the records show. If Grandpa carried it on hunts for years, that's worth preserving as family history. But if a buyer hears claims about a famous owner or rare use with no proof, they'll treat it as a guess. Clear records carry more weight than a story that grows each time it's told. This is also the kind of rifle where a top auction result can mislead families. A rare chambering, special order configuration, high condition grade, or firm paper trail can push one example far beyond the price of a standard rifle with hard use and later repairs. That's why you don't want someone to identify it from one phone photo, then name a price before they inspect it. A standard Model 1886 in good condition may bring roughly $2,000 to $4,500. Scarce chamberings, special order rifles, strong original finish, and documented provenance can move the range to $5,000 to $10,000 or more. If a Model 1886 sits in the house, record the serial number, protect every paper that came with it, and seek an appraiser who knows antique Winchesters. The rifle at number 1 takes that same lesson even further, because its worth can rest on a mix of rarity, factory details, condition, and a history you can actually prove. Rifle number 1, the heirloom that can change an estate sale. Number 1, a Winchester Model 1873 lever-action rifle with a rare factory configuration and documented provenance. Collectors start with the serial number, then study the caliber marking, barrel length, magazine tube, stock, sights, wood, finish, and receiver. They want to know whether those parts match the rifle's period and whether the rifle left the factory in that form. A factory letter, when available, can help answer those questions, but the rifle itself still has to support the paperwork. That takes patience. The highest auction figures belong to rare, well-kept examples with original finish, correct parts, and documentation that holds up under close review. A standard rifle with worn metal, altered wood, or missing parts won't bring the same result, even if both rifles carry the Model 1873 name. So don't let the name on the barrel lead you into a fast decision. And don't let a buyer use wear alone as a reason to dismiss it. Wear tells part of the story, but the whole appraisal comes from the rifle's exact setup, its condition grade, and the proof that follows it. A shooter-grade Model 1873 may bring roughly $1,200 to $2,500. An original rifle with correct parts, surviving finish, and documented provenance can bring $5,000 to $15,000, while rare special order examples can go far beyond that. For a family living on retirement income, the gap between a quick offer and a careful collector appraisal can leave real money with the family instead of the first buyer who recognized the rifle. Quick list and protective rules. Before anyone brings one of these rifles to a shop, write the names down and compare them against what's in the cabinet. Number 12, the Winchester Model 1894. Number 11, the Savage Model 99. Number 10, the U.S. Model 1903 Springfield. Number 9, the Winchester Model 70. Number 8, the Remington Model 141. Number 7, the Marlin Model 1893. Number 6, the M1 Garand. Number 5, the U.S. Model 1917 Enfield. Number 4, the Winchester Model 1895. Number 3, the Springfield Armory M1A. Number 2, the Winchester Model 1886. And number 1, the Winchester Model 1873. Now, you don't need to know every detail on your own. You just need to keep from making a permanent mistake before the right person has looked at it. Rule 1. Don't clean, refinish, drill, modify, or replace parts on an old rifle before an appraisal. If the rifle needs safe storage, keep it secure in a dry place and away from moisture. Don't seal it in a damp old case, don't lean it in a garage, and don't let someone take it apart just to see what's inside. A little patience protects more than a polishing rag ever will. Rule 2. Keep every piece of paper and every old item that came with the rifle. That means boxes, manuals, receipts, letters, photos, tags, slings, cases, service records, and notes in a drawer that nobody has opened in years. You may not know what belongs with what right away, and that's fine. Put it all in one labeled container until an appraiser can sort through it. Rule 3. Get a specialist appraisal, not one fast quote from the first pawn shop or local buyer. A pawn shop can be useful when you need quick cash for an ordinary item. But a quick cash offer isn't an estate appraisal, and it shouldn't be treated like one. The person behind the counter may know firearms well, yet collector rifles call for close work with markings, parts, condition, and current sales. Talk to someone who deals with the type of rifle you own, whether that means antique lever guns, military rifles, or older sporting arms. Ask what they need to see. Ask whether they buy the same rifles they appraise, and if they do, get another opinion before you sell. That isn't being difficult. It's protecting your family. Rule 4. Document each rifle before a move, an estate sale, or a family clean-out puts pressure on everyone. Use your phone and take clear photos in good light. Capture both sides of the full rifle. Then photograph the serial number, barrel markings, receiver markings, sights, stock stamps, and any damage or repair you can see. Keep those photos in more than one place, such as your phone and a folder shared with a trusted family member. Write down what you know while it's fresh. Who owned the rifle? Where did it come from? Did anyone keep a receipt, a military paper, or an old photograph? You don't need to prove every part of the story that day. Just record what the family knows before memories fade or papers disappear. A rifle's price comes down to condition, history, and proof. Subscribe for collector guidance and share this with family before an old rifle reaches a pawn shop counter.